Hey, what's up, you moneymakers and SNDL stockholders? Welcome back to the channel. This is a great time for me to update on SNDL. I used to cover SNDL pretty regularly last year, but since then I no longer own SNDL and I stopped covering. But this is such a great time because there could be a turning point for SNDL. I'm here to share an update because SNDL is at the risk of getting delisted from NASDAQ. It may not happen. For the most part, it will not happen because they're also looking into the reverse split. Now, if you ask me a question, why SNDL will be delisted from NASDAQ? Now, once again, there is $1 minimum price bid rule requirement from NASDAQ. So they want the stocks to trade or bid above $1. If it goes below $1, for a certain period of time, they issue the notice. And after the notice period, if they don't meet the minimum bid price rule requirement for $1, they are going to delist the stock. Now, right now, SNDL is listed on NASDAQ, as you can see right here. It is 30 cents, as you can see. Not a great month for SNDL, down 35.83% for last 5 days. It's down 16.40%. If you take a look at their historical price point right here, we have been trading below $1 for a long period of time, 30, 40, 50 cents. And the last time I saw $1 for SNDL was last year. In June 15th, we saw $1.06, and at the end of the June, we saw $1. After that, after June 29th, it dropped below $1. And since then, we did not really see the price spike back up to $1, and which is why they are on the notice period as at the moment. Now, if you think about SNDL, what they did, before a few days, they announced their earnings for Q1 2022. Before I go ahead, I just wanted to ask you if you can hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That will be super helpful. I put in a lot of energy, effort, and my time in building this video, so your help will be very much appreciated. If you can also hit the join button, doesn't cost you too much money, but there is the join button on YouTube that you can also help and support the channel if you like. Now, March 2022, we saw that in Q1, the revenue was 17.6 million. Q4 2021, we had the revenue of 22.72 million. So our revenue went down a bit, but it's up then compared to last year. So last year, Q1 2021, we had almost 10 million, and right now we have 17.5 million, which is a bump up of 78%. Now, if you think about SNDL, why it will do the reverse split, here is the further news around it. This article on NASDAQ.com talks about SNDL Sundial growers to split the stock during a turnaround year. Now, this is a pretty substantial price point at the moment, because back in the days, we saw that SNDL was about $1, as I just explained. We were continuously trading about $1, and then we went down. We tried going back up. We went to $2, and since then, we are going down and down and down. Whereas the market cap, 721 million. So it's a substantial market cap as well. Sundial Growers stock price at 41 cents when the article was written. Right now it's 30 cents. Has fallen far below the NASDAQ's minimum continued listing requirement of $1 per share. Now, and the company has exhausted both its grace period, being the share price back to compliance. So what happens is, NASDAQ issues a warning or a notice to the company that your stock is trading below $1. After that, if they still don't meet the minimum bid price rule requirement of $1, as I just explained, they will issue a grace period. And if the company does not really do anything within the grace period, and if they are still trading below $1, they are going to get delisted, which is where SNDL is at the moment, as you can see. Now, if you own the stock, you really want to know what's going to happen, because it's concerning. More the eyeballs are, if the company is on NASDAQ, NYSE, bigger stock exchange, more the trading volume is. Right now, if you think about the trading volume for SNDL, it's 101 million as an average trading volume. In today's trading session, it's traded about 57 million, as you can see, and we have continuously seen the volume is above 50 million, more or less, on a daily basis. So this is their volume, 62 mil, 78 million, 62 million, so on and so forth. Now, why this is important that the company trades above $1 and how they can do it? In my opinion, they are not going to get delisted. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor nor a certified professional, but this is based on the research that I'm telling you that they are not going to get delisted. Hit the like button if you really think that it's not going to get delisted. If you own SNDL, you want to hit the like button as well, so we don't create a too much FUD and we don't create too much fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and people can learn from the analysis that I've done. Basically, what they're going to do is the shareholder will most likely to vote for the reverse stock split in June meeting. Now you want to remember that the June meeting is coming on June 27th. So you keep an eye out. They can come up with 3-1. If they put 3-1, they will be almost at $1, or maybe 4-1. At that way, they will be about $1, $1.20. 2022 is a turnaround year for SNDL, and Wall Street expects profitability this year. Now I understand what SNDL has done in the past. They are making negative net cash income because of the huge operating expense. Q1, take a look, negative 37.9 million. December, negative 55 million. September, it's positive 11.31. But that's a cash heavy business, and this is going to happen. And we knew that in advance. So 2022, once again, it's a turnaround year, and the company is expecting profitability this year. And you really want to look out for this extension period following the earlier coverage of Sundial Grower as a deal stock in January, when this author pondered the possibility of SNDL stock announcing a reverse split to avoid getting delisted from NASDAQ. The company received a 180-day extension to be in the compliance period by the deadline provided by the exchange, which is NASDAQ. However, Sundial's stock price must still rise about $1 or hold about the threshold for 10 consecutive straight trading session, and that's the requirement. Now you may ask where this requirement came from. So this is NASDAQ's listing center, and I wanted to quickly show you the guideline from NASDAQ. When a primary equity that is listed on capital market and it's covered security, a company's preferred stock, and secondary class of common stock, they must meet the requirement number 1 through 5 below in order to be listed. Failure to meet this will continued listing requirement will be processed accordance with the provisions set forth for this Rule 5800 series. What that means is minimum bid price rule requirement of at least $1 per share, at least more than 100 public holders, which is already the case for SNDL, at least 100,000 publicly held shares, which is also true for SNDL, market value of publicly held share at least $1 million, which is also true because they have millions of dollars in the publicly held shares as well, and at least 2 registered and active market makers, whereas one of which may be market maker entering into the stabilized bill, which is okay as well. The only thing that they're not meeting is number 1, which is the minimum bid price rule requirement, and which is why they're going to approve this reverse split. Now, what this reverse split could look like, remember, they're at 30 cents. At the time of this article, there were 40 cents, and they were suggesting SNDL may do 1-for-3 reverse stock split. That way, they'll go to $1.20. Now they're trading at 40 cents, so they may suggest maybe 1-4 or 1-for-5. That way, they go to $1.50. However, the low conversion rate could leave little to room for SNDL stock to fall before NASDAQ compliance team. I'd focus on the Sundial once again. So keep an eye out. They may do something like 1-for-13 reverse split to go above $5. Right now, technically, SNDL is a penny stock, which is, once again, if it's below $5, if it has a very low market cap, we call it penny stock, but it falls within the category right now, 30 cents, and it's a pretty popular penny stock in my opinion at this point. Now, looking further into what they have been doing, they have announced their first quarter earning. We saw that the net revenue was 17.6 million, and cannabis cultivation and production net revenue is 8.8 million for the first quarter in 2022. They also acquired Alcana, which is on March 31st, 2022, creating a larger private sector cannabis and liquor retail network in Canadian market. Their leaker one-day revenue contribution of 1.3 million from Akela acquisition also helped them. This is Alcana is a pretty big company with about acquired by Sundial. That was their revenue was 162.5 million with the gross margin of approximately 36.3 million, subject to certain acquisitions and other adjustments, so on and so forth. But the gross margin increased 3.4 million for the first quarter compared to the loss of 3.5 million for the company SNDL, increase of 199%. Now, SNDL participated into the virtual investor conference.com, the virtual summit that they had. On the top of that, we already know that they reported that first quarter earning. They are going to have annual shareholder meeting at the end of the June. I believe the date is 27th of June. They have time up until August to make sure that they are above $1. That way they are not getting delisted. But at the moment, they're at the risk of getting delisted. So take it with a grain of salt, but you want to keep an eye out. They are going to probably have reverse stock split. You want to keep an eye out as well. Whether they're doing 1 to 13 to go about $5, or they want to do just a little bit about $1 and they can do 1-for-5 ratio as well. So watch out for that. I'll keep you posted. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel. One last thing I wanted to cover is how they are trading at the moment, the SNDL shares. Average volume, once again, 101 million. Current volume, 58 million. We have seen consistently the volume about 50 million lately, but we are nowhere near the 100 million that we used to see in April or for the month of April, and maybe earlier this year, earlier last year rather, in November. So keep an eye out. One last thing I wanted to, or positive news I wanted to share with you is North Carolina Senate approves the medical marijuana legalization bill that just happened before a week. So I just wanted to keep you posted because that's a positive news for companies like SNDL and many other companies who are into the cannabis business. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video helps you with your research and analysis. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the join button, help and support the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.